How do you get an e-mountain bike if you are a tall rider? How do you get one that fits you? On today's show, we'll be looking at how to, why to. We'll be joined by a tall rider and also asking the question, do e-mountain bikes require different geometry to mountain bikes? So we are now joined by geologist Mike Willis, who is 6'6", basketball player style, right?
Rower, mate. Yeah, that side of things. Yeah.
Mike, so you're looking for a new bike. How are you going to find one that fits? Tell me what's going through your head and what's the process to find a bike for a 6'6" rider?
Well, sort of terminology is all a bit lost on me. I just tend to look at the large, extra large, or this beast here was an extra large I found back in 2016, and to be honest, first bike I found that I thought actually fitted me and was quite comfy on. So the process is going back to that really, so XXL. So
is that the first thing you do then? You simply go to a brand's website and have a look for XL bikes?
Yeah. Look on the website. I haven't sort of drilled down more recently into sort of the geometry, and I've been hearing people talking about sizing and reach and everything. But
so one of the big differences since you've bought this bike in 2016 is actually a lot of brands have actually increased the range of their e-bike sizing, and also they've actually made the bikes bigger as well, which is a good thing, for tall people. But are you aware of the fact that there is a fundamental difference in sizing between brands? For example, an XL for one brand could be maybe 40 mil different to an XL from another brand. Are you aware of that?
Yeah, no, not at all, no.
Right.
It's something, probably a bit green on, to be fair. It's just, looking at a pair of trousers and they're a large or an extra large is...
I'll never be able to feel how you feel on a bike, but I can only guess. And I'll go into some of the factors that I go by when I choose my bike size. But are you going to go for an e-mountain bike, right?
Yeah, I'm going to go for an e-bike. I think I'm going to keep hold of this and still going to do that sort of riding.
Yeah.
But,
Well, that's the first point, actually, as I was going to make. So I guess when you ride an e-bike, the things you do on an e-bike will be different to what you do on this bike. Right, so let's try and nail some bikes through then. Now, I think my advice, and this applies to everybody who's over 6 foot and looking for an e-mountain bike, is I think it's important to narrow down the range of reach measurement on your bike. So for example, if you look at, say, white bikes, now they've got less of a range. They've got medium, large and extra large. And if you look at their reach measurements, they've got I think the XL is 510 millimeters in XL. Now, I'm 6 foot and my sweet spot when it comes to reach is about 480 millimeters, but I think my range is about 460 to 495, so that's 35 millimeters. I mean, you can take up 35 millimeters in the stem or on the seat.
Yeah.
So I think that I've spoken to Doddy and EMBN, and Doddy's 6'4", and he says he'll never go bigger than the 515 mil reach, and his range is 490 to 515. Now, I've seen some options that you've got here, Mike.
Yeah.
It's looking good, I have to say. It is looking really good. So, for example, so if my limit was, I'm guessing here, folks. So if my limit is like 495, I'm thinking you should be looking at bikes, and having spoken to Doddy as well, something between 480 and 520. I'm thinking, and 5 or 6 years ago, those bikes simply did not exist. But I'm looking at your list here. You got a YT Decoy base with a 502, Kind of Spectral 485, Santa Cruz at 515, Trek Rail 495. Seems pretty cool, that one. That's an XL. XL White E160 505. XXL Merida E140 489, not bad. And then of course you've got bikes such as Nikolai E-Box 550 mil reach. I mean, that's a big bike. The Specialized Canevo. Now obviously there's a different sizing in the Canevos to the Levo. For example, S1 to S5. Now an S5 in a Canevo is a 520 reach. So that's a big bike. I mean, that's possibly, looking at your kind of size. I mean, they also got the mountain bike versions of the Specialized now come in S1 to S5 as well.
Yeah.
So a huge amount of bikes to choose from there with ranges in, and a lot of them, some of them are XL, some are XXL, with a range from 485 up to that massive 550 on the Nikolai. But in general, 485 to 550 and 520.
Yeah, okay.
Which is pretty good, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So what are you going to go for?
Well, the sky's the limit now. I know I'm not looking at XXLs anymore. I can look at some of these other bikes, can't I? That
I
have
think
brought
so.
themselves back in. I was still looking at the list and thinking, you know, there's no XL on there, but actually when we're talking reach and chain stay, then I know a little bit more, so very good.
You answer the question. What bike?
Jesus.
How are you gonna, I want to know how you're going to make that decision.
I don't know, I've got to jump on some. So far, I haven't even cocked my leg over an e-bike, so it's been this, but I will. And I think, local bike shops like this that offer, I think they offer a service whereby you can hire one, or you can go some of these trail days, can't you? Like a special do.
I think it's a great thing to go on as a demo day, just to try them all out.
Yeah, I could get on a few different bikes then. It'd be nice to go somewhere where there's a few different makes and models though. And again, I'm green to that. There must be, well, hopefully when we're blown through this pandemic, there'll be days on.
The other thing, Mike, is will you be able to actually get an email?
Yeah, true enough, yeah.
Yeah, it was good to catch up there with Mike Willis, 6'6" Mike Willis. Now, here is a man who's always riding a bike that's too small for him, Chris Smith.
Oh, come on, Steve. Well, I come from that background, you know, jump bikes, hardtails, all that sort of stuff, which tends to be a little bit smaller because it makes it a little bit more manoeuvrable. Now, I mentioned this to you about sizing a while ago, that I always wanted a smaller bike because I wanted to be able to flick it around in the air. And I always thought a smaller bike was more manoeuvrable, but you've kind of proved me wrong on that one.
I'm of the mind now is I think a lot of brands haven't actually tuned in to the fact that e-mountain bikes should be significantly different in size to mountain bikes. I mean, you know, we went on this ride over the last few days in Dartmoor. I have to say, Chris, I see that you didn't do the river cross in there.
And I see you did, brave man.
Well, actually, folks, coming up on the channel next week is actually our Dartmoor dueling epic. I mean, what a great ride, Chris. Do you know, I just looked at my data on Garmin. We did 27 miles, right? We did all that on one battery. That's one EPA, is it 630s or 625? 630 watt-hour battery. And it just shows you, we were riding 6.5, 7 hours on an e-mountain bike. It's great, isn't it?
It was a big day out, wasn't it? It was boggy conditions, and as you mentioned, a really hard day out. And that was quite a surprise because that bike I was riding there was an XL actually, and that was a lot smaller than, say, my Specialized Levo XL version. So it just goes to show, you know, all those different manufacturers do have different size and different geometry. So it is really important to check that out, isn't it? I think.
I think the message is tune yourselves in to what range best suits you, and that range can be, you know, it can be actually one size difference. I mean, you know, I actually ride sometimes. I sometimes ride a large, which is 480. I sometimes ride an XL, which is, you know, 460. Depends on the brand, really. It really depends on the brand.
I've got one last question to wrap this up, Steve. I want to know what happens if you're a rider right on that cusp of being, say, on a large or XL. Do you go and max all the components out on the large, you know, bring the seat post up high, or do you go for the XL? And, you know, it's an awkward question, I think.
Well, not really. I mean, the main difference, well, the only difference between, say, an L and an XL is the down tube measurement, really. Yes, you know, you get, you know, on a lot of brands, you'll get maybe a little bit higher standover. So, you know, you could maybe go for the large and push the seat back and extend the handlebar or the stem by maybe 15 millimeters. So you can actually gain a size just by changing the components. You can actually gain a size just by tilting the handlebars forwards or backwards. I mean, you know, the difference between an L or an XL or a medium and large is probably about 25 millimeters. So it's not actually that much difference. So, well, I guess to answer your question, it depends what type of riding. If I was Chris Smith, I'd go for a large. If I was doing something more around the sort of exploring, I'd probably go for the XL. It depends.
Now, if you're wondering where you get a great EMBN hoodie just like this model, be sure to check out the EMBN merchandise shop. Loads of cool stuff on there. T-shirts, hoodies, stickers, hats, you name it, it is on the merch shop. So be sure to check that out. Details are up on screen now.
Coming up on EMBN this week, we've got a feature on Friday, which is riding with a partner or a friend. Now, this actually threw me, this feature. We went out with Hannah Wilson from Crank Brothers, and interesting subject is she measures things on her resting heart rate when she rides her e-mountain bike, and is actually using it as a training tool.
Yes.
Quite interesting fact there.
Everyone, I suppose, rides different, don't they? And it's quite a tricky subject. I suppose if you're introducing maybe a friend or even your partner into mountain biking, there's a lot of questions that can go a bit untouched, and something can be a bit of a delicate subject at times, I'm guessing, Steve.
Yeah, absolutely. And then on Sunday, we've got Dartmoor Dueling, which is a truly massive day out. Like I said, we did 27 miles. We used one 630 battery, riding for 7 hours on off-road terrain. Well, some of us rode off-road for 7 hours, put it that way, and you find out on the weekend.
Right, it's time for comments and questions from all the recent videos that we've done here on EMBN. We've got some great feedback here from the high-powered bike versus lightweight e-bike. I've got Spin to Win here. He says, even as a lighter rider, I prefer the higher power option all day, every day. I love the feeling of torque going up hills and the planted feeling going downhill.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it depends what type of riding you do. Really interesting doing that video. I was surprised that, you know, the range of 360 versus 630 was actually identical in trail mode. But yes, when it comes to technical terrain and you're slightly heavier, then the higher power bike certainly wins every time.
Yeah, and Ginger B, 36, he's asking, which bike did you enjoy riding the most?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, truly love riding all e-mountain bikes. I think each of them have got their, you know, their different sort of traits, and I think it's great just tuning into, you know, the different, you know, like chain stays and
different styles,
head angles and styles and travel and all this. We're going to comment in here from Tim is, we'd really love to see how far Levo SL in turbo can go versus Levo in trail mode to match the power output. Like the same effort on both bikes. I think it's a great one, and Tim is certainly one that we've got on our list to do in the future.
Definitely.
Chris, we should do that. We should do that together, right?
Yeah, that'd be a cool one, wouldn't it? I'd love to see that. Definitely.
Yeah. Thanks, folks, for your questions and your comments. It's great. It's really good to get a different angle on some of the features we do, and you know, good to know what things you'd like to see us do in the future as well.
Right, it's time for Climb of the Week, and we've got a great entry in this week. Now, this is super cool, literally. Now, we know all about e-bikes being their own uplift, but this is something I've never seen before. This is a ski lift being operated by an e-mountain bike. This is Pitt from Polkowitz in Poland on his High-Bike Esture 2.7, powering up the climbs, towing his 2 kids behind him on their skis so they can go up for unlimited runs down the hill on their skis and then get dragged back up to the hill on an e-bike. So impressive stuff there from Pitt, loving that. And don't forget, if you want to get involved on the show, use the upload service for any videos and pictures, send them in to us. We love seeing it.
Right, kicking things off with out and about this week is Philip. Probably one of my favourite out and about shots ever. I mean, this is got character all about it, and a bike we don't actually see very often on the channel. The new Kelly's bike. It's great. So this, like I said, this is Philip out in Thredbo, New South Wales, going to a high country hut.
Loving that skull as well. See the skull on the post as well? It's pretty cool, isn't it?
I do see this skull. And in a similar location, Josie on Live Val E in Jervis Bay, New South Wales, Australia again. Certainly got the sun out there at the minute, Chris, haven't they?
Yeah, stunning location there, isn't it?
However, look at this one, Chris.
Yeah, look at it. It looks like something out of Dracula's castle. This is Morris on his Cube Stereo Hybrid 140. out in Ealot Castle in Molsenkern, Germany. One of the most iconic castles you'll find at the River Mosel. That's a cracking shot, isn't it? It looks like a nice place to be riding. Loving that moody sky with that castle.
Now, the cool thing about Out and About is, it takes us to some destinations which might not never thought about before on a mountain bike. And you've got your Dracula Castle there. This is Simon on his Canevo on Winston Lee Tor. Now, I thought the tours were something to do with Dartmoor, but this is Lady Bar in the Peak District in the UK. I'm not sure, we know where you're coming from, Simon, with pushing an e-mountain bike for sure, but I think it's that beautiful location there, which is great, isn't it?
Yeah. Talking of beautiful locations, I think this stunning shot here from Jamie, he's got a 2021 Giant Trance up on top of the Malverns, up at Trig Point. Amazing shot there. I've always driven past the Malverns and thought it looks amazing, but I didn't know it was as epically beautiful as that up there. Big day out, 20 odd miles, 3,000 feet of climbing, and can still walk afterwards. Amazing shot that.
And what about these stalactites, Chris? This is Andre and the 2021 Cube Stator Hybrid in Thun in Switzerland. Nice bit of cavery there.
Yeah,
and
nice.
Well, what do you reckon, Chris? I think that the hut and the Giant Trance from Jamie, beautiful shots, right?
Yeah, some stunning shots there, I think. Some of our best entries ever. And as I say, keep those entries coming into us, use that upload service, and it could be you on next week's show. Right, it is Bike Vault time. This is where me and Steve cast our critical eye over your pride and joy to see who is taking Bike of the Week, or whether you're going to get a nice or a super nice.
Well, kicking things off with a nice is Michael and his YTG Guide 29 Pro in Horsford Woods out in Norwich. And next up, this is cool. This is going to be South Wales, surely to be. This
nice colours.
This is in Avon. There are nice colours. That's nice. I mean, that's super nice, Chris.
It's got to be.
It's got to be, right? Adam, Cunner Remote in Avon, super nice. On this next one really does show off the Merida E160 pretty well out in Michael Skronbach in Germany with Daniel. Chris?
Nice contrast there. What are you thinking with that one? Nice?
It shows the bike beautifully. I'd go one more than that, to be honest with you.
Super nice. Giving it away.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got another snowy shot here from Torben. He's on his Ghost Hybrid Kato 8.7 and Bad Burlig. Riding in the snow is awesome on an e-bike, and I can definitely vouch for that one.
Yeah.
Thinking that bike's a little bit lost in the black there. What are you thinking, Steve?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a nice. Next up is Andrew and his Fantic X1F Enduro Race 180. Don't see many Fantics actually, and they're a beautiful bike. But I'm kind of thinking this one gets lost a little bit as well, Chris. It's kind of it's sort of taken looking downwards, whereas maybe guys sometimes if you sort of look, if you come down and shoot the bike sort of side on rather than from down one on, or maybe sometimes looking up at the bike is pretty cool. I think that's a nice shot. Oh, and here's a trio. Here's a trio of bikes out in Clumber Park in Nottinghamshire. What have we got there? We've got a Cube, we've got a Specialised, we've got two high bikes and a Specialised there, right?
Yeah.
It's nice. The thing is, I mean, they are all super nice, aren't they? But, I mean, Martin says you can't have more than one bike in the Bike Vault. I think e-mountain biking is more than, the sort of loneliness.
It's group participation, isn't it?
I think so. and in that respect, Chris, I'm tempted to give Gary a super nice on that front, don't you think?
Super nice. Okay. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Right, we've got a nice shot here from Urban with a Husqvarna MC5. He's out in Skofia Loka. Had a short Sunday trip, -5, nice hard conditions and not too slippery. Liking the look of those Husqvarna bikes.
Yeah,
they look good, don't they?
And I like the look of the fact that he somehow seems to have balanced it, and I like the bar turn. I like the fact that the seat and the handlebar underneath the horizon. That's super nice, I think, Chris.
Yeah, super nice.
Yeah.
What do you think to this one then? This is Ford with a Merida E160 8000 out in Dumfries. First ride on his e-bike. I kind of like those log, fresh timber stack background. Always makes a bike stand out for me, I think.
I think it's super nice, actually.
Super nice.
Super nice for sure. Oh, look at this next one. John and his
nice,
hard
yeah.
7.6 in Chopwell Woods, Rowlands Gill, Gateshead. That's good. Oh, that's a banger for me. That's a banger. That's a super nice, isn't it?
It's got to be a super nice.
But which is the bike of the week, Chris? I mean, I think Urban out in his Husqvarna was a cool shot.
I don't know. I'm looking at John's high bike here again by the waterfall and thinking that could take it for me.
Yeah, is it the waterfall?
Come on, Steve. I'll leave it in your capable hands this week. Come on.
Waterfall or the logs? I'm kind of tempted to go for the logs myself. I can almost smell them, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Chris,
it's a good shot, that, isn't it?
Ford and his Married up in Dumfries. That's it.
Nice.
That's it.
Excellent.
And that's it for this week's show. Please, whatever you do not miss next Sunday's video on Dartmoor dueling with me and Chris. It's all time.
Definitely. It's going to be a big day out.
Yeah. Even I don't know the results of it yet, so I'm keen to find out.
And let us know what you think about bike sizes for taller riders, whether you ride a small, large, extra L. Get involved in the comments. Give us a thumbs up if you've enjoyed today's show, and we shall see you next week. Cheers for watching.
Bye.